I am Marie Cousin, your sergeant at arms on Zoom Public Relations Master of the meeting. What is our mission? We provide a supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Here is our statement. Leadership Speak is the premier club for experienced Toastmasters to become better self-directed leaders. We are an advanced club focused primarily on leadership development in everything we do. Our timer has their virtual hand raised. Can you? And so we all can immediately see who is keeping the time. So it is Marianna, it is Anna Schmid. Yes, thank you very much, Anna. Our Toastmaster of the day, who will lead our meeting, is Nikhita Winkler. She is our club area and division winner for the International Speech Contest. Please give her a big applause for that. She is an educator, performer, movement specialist, and Toastmaster, born in Namibia and raised in the world. Nikhita currently resides in Spain, where she teaches English and creative artistic work on women that focuses on performing experiential therapy. Let's welcome the dancing queen and Toastmaster of the day, Nikhita Winkler. Nikhita Winkler, the stage is yours.
Crack the code. Breathe potential. Find the magic. Think beyond. Reach further. Connect wider. Search deeper. Be inspired. Ladies and gentlemen, being the Toastmaster of the day at Leadership Speak is an experience that has stretched me to connect with individual members, to improve my communication skills, and to expand my own definition of creativity. Today's theme, which is nurturing a creative culture. It's actually no stranger to Leadership Speak, because leaders in this club have an exceptional talent to balance creativity with organizational effectiveness, impact, and strategy. And that is exactly what makes Leadership Speak an exceptional advanced club. Every single week, we witness how our members stretch themselves to contribute new ways of adding value to the club meetings. Leadership Speak has certainly made me do things I have never done before. And you know why I'm still here? Because I can continue to stretch my box. We have witnessed presentations with state-of-the-art technology, innovative speeches costumed for Halloween play, evaluations given from within a pool. And we have seen different and expansive ways that every single role has been interpreted. Week after week, we see our leaders transforming. And you want to know why? Because we are part of an inspirational community, and we continue to say yes to the challenge. We make room for play, we celebrate diversity, and in a nutshell, we redefine what leadership looks like. I am an artist, a dancer, and being creative is my work. But this time I had to, as the Toastmaster of the day, I had to interact with members individually. And I started to become so curious to understand, how does each and every one make room for creativity in their daily lives and professional environments? Whew. To my surprise, everyone finds that creativity is an essential part of their aliveness and a way of leading and learning. Creativity, ladies and gentlemen, feeds our potential to make a difference, to improve, enhance, and reach the quality of life. So I want to welcome you all to this meeting today. Thank you for being here. I hope that when you leave, your creative muscle has been stretched. I would like to introduce our Toastmaster, Fabiola Cleofa, who will be giving the toast for today. Fabiola is a freelance language translator, and she's translating from English, Dutch, and Spanish into her native language, which is called Papiamentu. I hope I pronounced that correct. And guess what? It's a language spoken in the Dutch Caribbean islands. It means talking. The word Papiamentu means talking. She is a past director of District 81, a member of several clubs, and one of those is Firebirds Collective, Advanced Online Club, which she became a member of in 2017. That year, that club charted as one of the first online clubs admitted by Toastmasters International. When I asked Fabiola, how does she stay inspired to keep generating new ideas? She said, by traveling virtually to the places she could never reach by hopping on a plane or a boat. Being adventurous and taking risks keeps her generating new ideas. And to be creative in leading, solving problems, translating, and enjoying life. So together, let's put our hands together, and I'd like to welcome Fabiola to give the toast for today and fill our glasses. You are muted. I can't hear you.
Okay,
There we go.
Yes. All right. So I know that most of you forgot that as a kid, we are naturally creative. We are naturally curious, and we are naturally exploring everything. That gives us, as a kid, the ability to solve problems, to create new things, and to get away with the rules that our parents give us. Now, rules are there to guide us, to put an order in the chaos. But as we grow older, we tend to be in that box that has been put to us. And we forget that creativity, that being free of solving problems. In Toastmasters, we have different roles. And yes, we have a guideline and we have a structure. When you are evaluating, do you tick off all the structure, all the things, or do you creatively look at ways how you can help the member to improve? Being a leader, director, or managing your own business, how do you go about looking at creative ways in being that leader that you have to be? Let us toast today for being more creative. My champagne bottle is filled with chocolate flavored candies. Remembering Forrest Gump's that says, we are presented with a box of chocolate and you never know what comes out of it. So by toasting on being creative, let's take on each opportunity as a chocolate and let's toast on that to be more creative, problem solving in a way that help us to be a better leader. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster of the Day.
To being more creative and better problem solvers.
To be more creative and better problem
solvers.
Thank you very much for filling our glasses with some chocolate. And next, I would like to introduce our timer of the day, Hannah Schmidt. Hannah is my fellow Namibian sister, and she is a member of 3 clubs around the globe. She says that each club has its own culture and nurturing them individually is very important. Hannah's continuous leadership development has escalated since March 2020 when Toastmasters started holding online meetings. She had to learn fast and how to adapt in order to develop and redefine her online leadership skills. And since joining, Hannah says every day has been an inspiration for her. Meeting so many Toastmasters online is an inspiration alone to keep her generating new ideas and to challenge herself to push her boundaries. On to you, Hannah.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Wow, what a wonderful introduction, and you're doing well. My time for today is, we've got one leadership speech, which will be presented by Tony for 22 minutes. So I'll time him at 18, 20, and 22 minutes. All the other speeches are 5 to 7 minutes, 5, 6, and 7. Let me show you my lights also. I forgot that. I'll do that now. 5, 6, and 7. And the evaluators is 2, 2.5, and 3 minutes. And I shall report at the end of the meeting when asked by either the Toastmaster or the General Evaluator. Over to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Baie dankie, Hannah. Baie dankie means thank you in Afrikaans.
Proceed.
So next, I would like to introduce our grammarian, Ashri Aslam. Ashri is from Sri Lanka, and he has worked in the private sector for 14 years and 5 years in a multinational company. Currently, his efforts are in establishing a small business startup, and he is a passionate online trading learner. Ashri believes that grammar is a burden that kills the dream of most Sri Lankans to speak English. You want to know why? Because people try to perfect their grammar first without the practice of simply speaking, whether their grammar is good or bad. I welcome Ashri, whom I challenge to seek exceptional uses of the English language today. Welcome, Ashri. Please
Thank
keep
you
the
very much. Thank you very much, Toastmaster Nikhita Winkler, the Toastmaster of the day. As a grammarian today, I would suggest good use and challenges in language usage. Today, word of the day is exceptional, and let's see how many of us can connect the word exceptional with nourishing a creative culture. The meaning of the word is unusual, not typical. So the word is really seems easy and very much used in our day-to-day life. So we thought of setting a challenge. Usually the word of the day is mostly used nearly 20 rounds per meeting. So as a team, today we are expecting to break that 20 and to reach at least 25, 30. I'll be counting the number of usage from my end. And to give you some examples, the usage of the word exceptional, we understand that nourishing a creative culture requires creating an environment where exceptional talents are encouraged. Example number 2, we strive to create an exceptional environment that nurtures a culture of creativity. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much, Ashri. Next, I would like to introduce our educational speaker. But before our educational speaker gets spotlighted, I have a lovely introduction. Our educational speaker is Tony Bratschitsch, and he shares this with me. The bottom line on a business annual income statement would show a profit in black ink or a loss in red ink. Indisputably, this is their most important financial statistic, because without profits, businesses do not exist. But it's not that simple. Enterprising businesses cannot stand still. They are the ones that develop new products and better services. Their products must be consistent and large enough to sustain growth and development. And this cannot happen without content and productive employees who convert vision into reality. Thus, it can be reasonably argued that the bottom line is employee prosperity. Enterprises cannot have one without the other. If they want black ink at the bottom of their financial statements, they will treat their employees like gold. In other words, enterprising businesses have to nurture a creative culture. So Tony has been involved in decision-making with small manufacturing and service enterprises since 1976. And at this stage in his life, he has been a business consultant for 25 years with a group of companies that have mushroomed from 3 to 10, wait for it, during the COVID pandemic. So we know while some companies wilted, this group prospered. Their creative culture played a significant role in this success. Tony was the district 86 governor in 2013 to 2014. As a volunteer workshop presenter, he received the Arthritis Society of Canada's Leadership Award in 2015. And until recently, Tony was captain of a men-women hockey team. Woohoo! Currently, he is on the executive of his Royal Canadian Legion branch, and he is also their youth education chair. Tony is the district 123 parliamentarian and the Leadership Speak Club parliamentarian as well. His presentation today is based on nurturing a creative culture in a business environment. I asked Tony if there is space for creativity in the boardroom, and his response was, definitely. There is a lot of opportunity for that. And one of the most effective phrases in the boardroom is, what if? What if? Business creativity often starts with that, says Tony. I would like to welcome Tony, and please grace us with your presentation. Oh, sorry, Tony. Let me properly introduce you. Excuse me. Tony Bratschitsch. The bottom line is employee prosperity. The bottom line is employee prosperity by Tony Bratschitsch.
Thank you, Toastmaster today, Nikhita. I really enjoyed the way you presented that with such enthusiasm. I'm pumped. Hello, fellow Toastmasters. Nurturing a creative business culture is not about, it's just a slice in our society. Being creative is not being an island unto itself. We have to be creative in all parts of our life to enhance creativity in any part of our life, such as business culture. Nikhita's given the necessary background. I don't have to repeat it. So I am going to relate my story about how creativity is very important in business. As has been said, I'm a business consultant, and I have been for 25 years. And what is a business consultant? Well, in my case, the way I do it, a business consultant is a person who has no job security, totally freelance, no contract, no retainer. A business consultant is useful for as long as they bring value. So in other words, if I don't bring value to the people I work with, they don't call me. Now, on the other hand, if I don't like what I'm doing, I don't answer. So it is freelance completely. And it's wonderful. In the right side of the screen, you'll see some of the things that I have done over 25 years, working with a group of companies. And I have many, many stories. I have many stories about challenges, problems that needed to be solved with creativity, as Fabiola said in the toast. And I have many wonderful stories. And this group of companies, it's been around for 33 years. And my part started 25 years ago. We have struggled mightily. But lately, especially during the COVID era, we've established that business creativity is crucial to our future. And I'm going to show how and why.
Tony, before you continue, we can only see a black screen, just to let you know.
Oh, okay. Okay. Then I can put you in pause. I'm going to. All right. I'm going to share again. Thank you for saying that. Oh, yes. All of a sudden it went black. All right. Thank you for that. Can you see that?
Yes.
Ah, okay. Thank you. All right. I'll do it this way. Is that visible? Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
good. Thank you. All right. Thanks for indulging me. All right. I'm going to do it this way. as Nikhita said in my intro, we don't ask why when it comes to boardroom type meetings, because it's too late. Why means we don't know what's going on, what the problem is. By the time we have these types of meetings, we have to know what the problem is. So it's not why, it's what if. How do we solve problems, or how do we plan a new future? What if we try this? What if we try that? And when our minds are geared that way, you know, the emotion is not in our brain. The problem-solving mode is in our brain. And the brain can do basically one thing at a time, and one major thing at a time. So we're into problem solving with what if. We're not caught up in the emotion of why or who or whatever. And that takes experience, and that takes time and practice, not just in business, but as you know, we all have lives and everything we do. Now I'm going to define some of the key words because I want to make sure we're on the same page, literally the same slide. Nurturing, encouraging of growth, encouraging, okay? That's a big word. Growth, another important word. And creative, recognizing ideas and possibilities. Business, of course, is a professional activity. And culture, that's what we're talking about here today, correct? The manifestation, or any similar word, manifestation, the gathering, the interacting, manifestation of human intellectual achievement. And human, of course, means workers, not the cold machinery of a business apparatus, workers. And in this presentation, I will refer to employees, but I don't like that word because they're workers. And business consultants are workers, and the managers are workers, and the owners are workers. So at work, we say co-workers, because we're all working towards the same cause, and we all want to be within the same culture. And in smaller businesses, there's not much difference, you know, between the owner and the worker, you know, in the field or in the factory floor. I mean, they see each other quite often. They breathe the same air. They sit in the same rooms. Culture is a part of our belief system. That's something that I absolutely believe in. It's our mindset. It's the way we live. And this is done not just in business, but also activities and community. Now, you have your stories and I have mine. Okay, and of course, I can only tell my story, but I'd be anxious to hear your story, you know, sometime in the future. February the 4th, I did a presentation to this club on ethical dilemmas. And I talked about my hockey team and how there was some ethical dilemmas that we resolved, and we built a great culture, a culture where strangers met, fell in love, and got married. A culture that still lives to this day, although most of us have retired, because we still live that culture amongst our friends. And now, you know, many of us are community volunteers. And in a way, Toastmasters, of course, in a big way, is part of that community. I've had the pleasure of being a volunteer, and again, a chance to develop my idea of culture. There's a photograph where I received an award from the Arthritis Society, as Nikhita mentioned. I was a district governor a long time ago. I've done stuff with the Royal Canadian Legion, with the youth education program, with the children. There's a culture to all of that. You know, in our club, we have a culture. In Toastmasters, we have a culture. But these cultures should be aligned in our minds, in our mindset. So therefore, my culture with the Arthritis Society or with Toastmasters or with the Legion or my hockey team has to be the same culture in business too. Otherwise, I am not authentic. It would not work. The company that I've been referring to as mushroomed from 3 companies to 10 companies during the COVID era. So back then, you know, it was already 29 years in business. But bang, we mushroomed. And this is a picture of the most important meeting that we have every year. This is our annual general meeting, and you see a picture of some of the employees who are in the room. Now, you can hardly see me. I'm in the far corner with the black shirt beside the screen. I'm doing a hybrid Zoom call along with these employees. And there's more employees to the other side of the room. There's employees on Zoom from the city of Ottawa, which is the capital, Canada, 400 kilometers away, and another city close to Detroit called Windsor, which is 350 kilometers away. They're on the Zoom call, and there was employees who are in hotels because they're on near job sites. So it's oh, wow, technology. And we talk about technology in leadership speak. And there I am using technology that I actually learned a lot from leadership speak. One culture feeding this culture to my benefit. And I would hope to say the benefit of my coworkers. Why is culture important to nurture in business? Well, we talked about this earlier with Nikhita's intro. To grow business, to move forward. Business creates new things for us. It looks for new ideas. It develops new products. It streamlines processes. But who does it? It's the workers that do it. It's you and I and others, if they're in the right culture. So business must nurture a creative culture to bring the best out of its workers. And this is not, I did not invent this, okay? The bottom line, the most important financial statistic, of course, is profit. But really, the bottom line to the business enterprise is employee prosperity. And prosperity means something very important. Now, by the way, I missed this one. Innovative products that businesses have developed. Well, a while ago, somebody developed a wheel. That was, there's the printing press. You can see, some of the innovative products. For example, sticky notes, right? Sticky notes like this. That was developed by an engineer at the 3M company quite a while ago by accident. But what a hit that was. So creative business culture develops innovative products that is useful to you and I to have a better life. As I mentioned, the bottom line is employee prosperity. Most of us, all of us, should be familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. This is what goes through. Now, this is, of course, something that came out a long time ago and it's been developed by other people. But this is the iconic symbol of what is involved in a human being's needs. Okay. This is part of the prosperity that I'm talking about. This is the prosperity that businesses have to ensure the employees enjoy. Morality, creativity, confidence, achievement, love, belonging. People want to belong, safety, security, psychological needs. It's all part of something that we as co-workers in a creative business culture must make sure happens. Now, in those annual general meetings, I address to the employee co-workers, things like safety, their safety, opportunity, their contentment. What is contentment? Pay, right? Benefits, right? But enough pay, good pay they can have a good life, buy new things, feed their families, of course, contentment. I'm pleased to say that in the last, 8 years or so, when we have our annual employee performance reviews, pay does not hardly come up in discussion. It is not an area of conflict. The co-workers, the employees feel the pay is good, but that's not enough, right? Opportunity to grow. And I'm going to show you something that I'm very, very proud of. But I like now to get into something that Lance Secretan spoke about last week in one of our workshops that Leadership Speak presented. Lance, I don't believe I have to describe who Lance Secretan is, But he said something that was bang on. He talked about the difference between motivation and inspiration. Now, motivation, of course, comes from a speaker or a circumstance that compels us to do things. Show up to work on time or get fired. That's motivating. Or do something good and be rewarded. It's from an outside force, so it's and it tends to be short term, but it's very important. But the big picture for creativity and business culture is inspiration, where it comes from within me, within you, within the co-workers, right? It's something that compels us to have our own vision, our own culture, so we can help build the culture we're in. I'm going to give you some examples of culture killers or things that cancel culture. You're probably familiar that Elon Musk purchased Twitter. And last November, this is a headline from CNN News, exactly the way you see it, where he said, do extremely hardcore work or get out. And that's after he laid off half of the staff of many thousands of people. And so for the remaining staff that they thought they wanted to keep, he told them this, and it was published. And a lot of their key talent left. Right? Well, you and I know what this does for culture. I don't have to say anything. Okay, it's a killer. Now, this one I also presented at the same presentation, February the 4th, which still astounds me. This is the chief executive officer of an IT company. She had to, lay off thousands of people, but she wrote a 1,700-word email, and she described layoffs as refinements, just in a few words, somewhere buried in that 1,700-word email. Like, who reads that, right? I wouldn't, but she wrote that, hey, we had some refinements, which means people were laid off, brutally laid off. Okay, and then she quoted an American philosopher, Martin Luther King. Who is she, to quote Martin Luther King Jr. after what she has just done? Who? What kind of leadership is this? You can understand my frustration and my angst when. Now, we all see these things. Now, the businesses that I've been doing work for is in a very nasty part of society's needs. These businesses pick up the worst things that society generates in schools, hospitals, factories, anywhere. Hazardous waste, including radioactives. And this group of companies pick up the stuff, and they get rid of it properly, so it no longer will poison society. So it's very dangerous. Any one of those lids comes off at the wrong time, it could kill people. All right. So we are highly regulated by 17 government agencies, including the United Nations and the American Homeland Security, the police department. 17, I deal with 17 government agencies who audit us on a regular basis. So safety is a big issue with our workers. And our workers are chemists, accountants, marketing people, sales people, lab technicians. So we all need to know we're working in a safe environment. So safety is a very big issue, highly regulated. Okay? So a lot of these people are young. You can see they're, it's great. They're raising families. They have ideas. I always go to meetings early. And in such a case, I was at this room fairly early to welcome people as they come in. I was basically a sergeant at arms. And I'm proud to say that when the workers came in, they started to fill up the front seats. Now, often you go to meetings and people walk in and they start to fill the back seats. And I thought, well, this is nice. This is one of those little things I like to pick up on. They're coming right in here, front and center. This is a 2-hour session. It was about the co-workers, about their needs, their prosperity, clearly, they are told they are responsible for the company's prosperity. It was an open, transparent meeting, as it always is. The feedback was excellent. And I felt a vibe, an enthusiasm, a vibration. There was applauses during the meeting. And when the meeting concluded, about half these people stayed to talk. So that was also a good sign. But something happened yesterday. It's one of many things, but I was able to capture it with a photograph. This is a training session that happened 6 o'clock in the morning yesterday. And again, it's a hybrid call. A lot of people are on Zoom. And the person standing closest to us in this photograph is a coworker. He is presenting the training session. His name is Ishan. Ishan, 23 years old, probably our youngest employee. He was very active in the annual general meeting. And here he is giving a presentation to his peers on how to work with customers, customer relationships. He's a frontline worker. He goes to customer places. He picks up their hazardous waste. He sees them face to face. He represents our culture to our customers. And here he is giving a presentation. And you can see his co-workers are paying attention. And there's managers there as well, paying attention. He's not a Toastmaster. I'm going to talk to him about that. But he was very good. And after the meeting, Isham said, I'd like to do another presentation on sales techniques, because he's always selling to the customers. At the next training session, he will be making a presentation. This is not motivation. This is inspiration. This is from within. This is the frontline co-workers stepping up and being leaders because they're self-directed. And that is the objective of building a positive business culture, self-directed workers. Does that sound familiar? Self-directed? Of course it sounds familiar. Now, we do a lot of things to accommodate our workers. We have a fleet of airplanes. We have a pilot on staff, and we've had that for 12 years. Because we're near the greater Toronto area, and it's like any major metropolitan city, it's congested. And we're quite often on the wrong side of the greater Toronto area. We have to get across the city to get our workers back home. And sometimes our workers will be on job sites in places a couple of 100 kilometers away. And we need to get them back home to their families so they can enjoy their lives, their balance. So we have this fleet of planes for them. We fly, we pick them up, we bring them home, fly in back in the morning to the job sites. Accountants have properly asked, what about the cost? This is not a cost. This is a culture builder. And we've increased pay, we've increased benefits during the COVID time period to about 20% of what they were getting before. And our revenues have increased by 38%. That 30% had to come to the workers, had to come first. 38% came from self-driven co-workers. I'm going to conclude because the red light is on. Employee prosperity equals creative business culture, equals growth and opportunity for everyone. It's part of our belief system. It's our mindset. It's the way we live, and we must live this in all the things we do: activities, community, family, friends, neighbors, and business. And we all will have a better life. Prosperity to all of us. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very, very, very much, Tony, for reminding us that we prosper together when we all get our hands dirty. Round of applause to you. Our next speaker will be Angela Brown. She is an author, an entrepreneur, and a chronic illness advocate. And when asked the question, what inspires her to be creative, she said her beautiful relationship with her daughter, because her daughter reminds her every day about her why, especially when she's not feeling good. And so the evaluator for Angela's speech today will be Marianna Burka. Can you please provide the project objectives?
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. Angela will speak from Effective Coaching Pathway, Level 1, Writing a Speech with a Purpose. And I assume you will present the title for her speech.
Thank you very much. Angela Brown's speech is titled, I Fought the War and I Won. Angela Brown, I fought the war and I won. The floor is yours.
Raise your hand if you've ever fought a war and you won. It could be with your finances, your health, or even in a relationship. I don't see any hands, but I'm going to assume we all have been there. And how did you feel when you won the war? Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Thumbs up. Great. I have this quote by Michael Jordan. Obstacles do not have to stop you. If you run into a wall, do not turn around and then stop. Find a way to climb it, to go through it, or to work around it. Good evening or good morning, fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests. Last week, I went to see the kidney specialist. I hadn't seen him in 7 years. We sat down and we spoke a little bit about what had been happening to me since I last saw him. As I was leaving, he said to me, congratulations, you fought the war and you came back. And I looked at him with a curious face and I thought, what is he talking about? And then I remembered. He was talking about the health challenges that I've had in the last 7 years. Let me tell you about a few of them. In 2029, I went to Florida with my boyfriend and his sister. On the way back, I wasn't feeling well. At the airport, I was just bobbing and weaving. My head hurt. I felt really dizzy. I felt like I was going to be sick to my stomach. I could barely walk. I didn't want to miss my flight or have ended up in the hospital because there was a tornado that was supposed to be hitting. And I wanted to get out of Florida before it hit. I still felt sick on the plane. When I got home at 3 a.m., I just passed out on my bed, asleep. When I woke up, I remembered that my niece was christening her baby that day, so I had to go. So I went to the christening and I slept through most of it. And then guess what happened? As I was leaving to go to the reception, I passed out. I was on the floor. This time I wasn't sleeping. I was unconscious. I woke up and this happened outside. So I woke up with all these people around me from the streets watching me on the floor. My friend was standing over me and someone said, I'm going to call 911. 5 paramedics came. They checked my blood pressure. They checked my blood sugar because I'm diabetic and it was normal. They checked my oxygen and it was low, barely. They took me to the hospital, and after a few days of tests, I was told that I had something called Legionella disease. What? What is that? I've never heard of it. I was told that it usually happens in like a hospital or a hotel room or somewhere where there's a lot of people. It happened a few years ago in a nursing home in Scarborough. I think there was something like 10 seniors died. I was told that only 10% of people who get this disease survive. So of course I was in the fight of my life. Luckily I wasn't hospitalized, but I was bedridden. I was on antibiotics. Went back to see the doctor. Guess what? Antibiotics wasn't working. So he said, let's try something stronger. So we gave me different antibiotics. And luckily that worked. And luckily I survived. I was in that 10% who don't make it. What else happened? Well, what happened to everyone in 2020? COVID happened. I was told by my doctors that do not get COVID, because if you get COVID, you'll die. Let me explain. I have a heart condition because I was born with 3 holes in my heart. I have diabetes. I have high blood pressure. I have asthma. I have a rare lung disease, a rare kidney disease, and it goes on. They said, you will not make it. Then guess what happened in the third wave of COVID? I got COVID. It was a dark period. I literally thought, okay, this is it. I'm gonna die. I've gone through so much wars, but this time I'm not gonna make it. Well, needless to say, I woke up in the hospital. Didn't even know how I got there. There was nurses, doctors wearing gas masks. They were walking around, and the nurse told me that I'd been in a coma for a week. I've been on a ventilator, and they had to transfer me from another hospital. I was pretty much close to dying. Well, I survived. I walked out of the hospital with a walker, and I thought, if I have to use this walker for the rest of my life, I'm okay with that, because I survived. I fought the war and I won. This is what my doctor was talking about. No matter what happens to you in life, never give up. People ask me, how did you go through all these different things in your life and you still positive, keep going, writing 3 books, being in Toastmasters, being the president of a Rotary Club, teaching children online, and you just keep on going with all these different things? And I said, because I'm a leader. I was born to be a leader, because one of the key characteristics in a leader is resilience. Being able to fight that war and get up quickly and keep going. I'd like to leave you with this quote by Nelson Mandela. He said, do not judge me for the successes that I've had. Judge me for the amount of times I fell down and I got up again. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Angela, for that speech. You are a winner. You are a winner. And war after war, you didn't just win the war. You are striving. You are striving. Thank you very much. Our next speaker is Dinesh Sharma. Dinesh is a relationship builder with more than 25 years of global human HR experience in North America and India. And his purpose in life is to enable others to reach their potential. Today, Dinesh will be evaluated by Barbara Jarvis. I hope I pronounced that correct. Would you please provide the project objectives?
Sure. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone. Dinesh Sharma's objective is building effective public relations strategies, and this is coming from his dynamic leadership speak level 4. The title of his speech is going to be Power of Networking. Power of Networking, Dinesh Sharma.
Thank you very much. So I think his speech has a different title. I shall introduce Dinesh Sharma right now. Are you ready? Think so? All right. Dinesh Sharma, building effective public relationship strategies. Dinesh Sharma.
Thank you, Madam Toastmasters, fellow Toastmasters, and welcome guests. Let me ask you a question. And the question is, Leadership Speak was chartered in February 2022. Today, 15 months after the club was chartered, we have members from, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, from about 18 different countries. And every week, we have more than 30 members attending this meeting on a regular basis from different countries. What is that? That is called power of networking, in my words. That's exceptional. Every Saturday, 30 members from across the world attending a Toastmaster meeting. So, our greatest asset in our life is not our bank balance. Our greatest asset in our life is our relationship balance. And according to one of the famous motivational speakers from India, his name is Shiv Khera, he said, many studies have shown that people who have a good relationship, they live happier and healthier lives. That brings me to my next question. Are the leaders born or are the leaders made? Irrespective of the answer, one of the top skills that all the leaders have is they are very good at networking, or they are very good at relationship building. So, what's networking? My presentation will cover 6 topics. What is networking? What's the importance of networking and relationship here? How do you build relationship? And with relationship, you convert challenges into the opportunity. Leadership Speak is again a perfect example. COVID, all the clubs were going down. And here is a club that was formed by Brent and Braham. And we saw the certificates last evening of both of them getting recognized for exceptional sponsors. That's converting challenges into the opportunity. And then you have examples of benefits of networking and relationship and summary. So what's networking? If you Google, the meaning of networking is the exchange of information and ideas amongst people with a common purpose or interest, usually in an informal setting. This Toastmaster meeting is a networking opportunity. We all meet, we all exchange ideas. Why? Because we all have the same purpose. We want to learn, we want to grow. But to me is networking is like a bank account, where you open an account for a future transaction. What does that mean? That means is you go and you open a bank account. Would you get out of it? Because you haven't deposited anything from the bank account. You go to a bank and says, bank, give me $10. The bank teller is going to look at it. Are you okay? You haven't deposited anything. How can I give you? So let me go further onto that too. What's the importance of networking? Networking plays an important role in our life. However, many people misunderstand networking. For me personally, networking equals to relationship building. Networking is in all parts of our life. we need to get a mortgage, we call our friends. Hey, where do I get, which bank do I get mortgage from? I need to get a car, I call up my other friend or a family. Which car should I buy? Networking. However, it is a give and take theory. You give first before you receive anything. The club is providing so many useful tools. Braham is setting up different committees, educational committees for people to become better leaders. And he's encouraging people to become a self-directed leader. You try to take more than what you've given, you become red circle. You have to keep contributing it to, you have to keep adding on to it too. Now, how do you build relationship? 6 simple steps. Build rapport. People like people, those who are like themselves or who are like they would like to be. I get pretty inspired when Nikhita calls me up and says, Dinesh, tell me, what do you think creativity is? Now my mind is thinking about this too. I like you, Nikhita. I like Dr. Aswati Rajan, okay, because she said she went through some challenges in her life, then she came back. That's bounce back. Okay? Express positive energy. Be loving and kind to people. Have a sense of humor. Embrace vulnerability. Nobody is perfect. I read it somewhere. None of us are smarter than all of us. From a leadership coach called Ken Blanche. Okay? But more importantly, compliment others, which is called match and mirror. Converting challenges into the opportunities. Relationship converts challenges into the opportunities. Most of the opportunities I have received in my life is through relationship. You all know that I have a not-for-profit organization. So March 2020, COVID hit the world. 3 million Canadians lost their job. And then we started webinar series to help the community. Why? To build is to unite. That's the team that will build it up. Serve the community. But we not only do that too, we go out and we volunteer in the community also. Tony said the power of volunteering. Because to build is to unite. And when you do that too, you get recognition. BMG has been awarded as the most promising startup company in less than 3 years of our operation, not only in Canada, but from this firm in India, saying that an organization which is doing contribution in a different country. So in summary, networking is like a bank account where you open an account for future transactions. Networking is relationship building. It's a give and take theory. You try to take more than what you've given, you become red circle. And last but very important, relationship converts challenges into the opportunity. That's all from me. Thank you so much for listening. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster. You are mute, Nikhita.
Thank you. Thank you, Dinesh. I like you too. And thank you for adding value and being a valued member of our community at Leadership Speak. Our next speaker is Raam Lakhanpal. And Raam is a distinguished Toastmaster and Coach of the Year for District 86. When I asked him what inspires him to keep generating new ideas, he said, when one feels a sense of rejuvenation, reach out to those who inspire you at a higher level. And his mom has and continues to assert and teach him to surround himself with those who inspire him. Raam's evaluator will be Nina John. Nina, can you please share the speech objectives with us?
Yes, Madam Toastmaster. Raam Lakhan is presenting his speech on vocal variety, and the purpose of this project is for the member to practice using vocal variety or body language to enhance a speech. Over to you, DTM Raam Lakhan.
I would like to introduce Raam, speech titled Four Distinct Seasons. Four Distinct Seasons. Raam Lakhanpal, the stage is yours.
Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, residing in the Northern Hemisphere, that is not too far from the North Pole, we experience four distinct weather patterns. Spring, followed by summer, then fall and winter. In contrast, a friend of mine lives in Trinidad and Tobago. And I asked Lak, I said, oh, do you have winters at all there or cool weather? He says, no, Raam, it's only two weather patterns here, hot and hotter. I said, oh, wow, that's amazing. I must visit those islands sometimes when it's winter and cold here. Here, however, we're in spring, and spring is nice. Last Thursday, however, an exception. Our spring arrived with a vengeance, and I mean vengeance. 28 degrees, almost 30 degrees. In some places, I'm sure in this area, if you went closer to the lake with the humidity levels, you'll find quite an exception to about 30 degrees, perhaps more than that. But one thing that is pleasing, though, is for the farmers. Farmers are extremely pleased. And you wonder, why are the farmers pleased with the winter that we've had? I mean, mountains of snow. Mountains of snow. And upwards of 15 feet, in some areas 14 feet high mountains of snow piled up where the parking lots are. One thing that they're happy about is the abundance of that groundwater levels for the fields is going to be really, really good for them because they can just draw water and put it there. There's so many other examples I could go why the water is so good. Fresh water. Some people collect that for their gardens. Some people do it for other purposes, etc. Someone said, April showers bring May flowers. Dancing in the rain, anyone? Do you believe in dancing in the rain? Yes, I enjoyed that very much. I danced a lot as a kid. In the rain, whenever it rained, oh, whoa, and mama will say, come on in inside. And that's enough for the day. The other thing that we know a sign of spring is when a bird, and I don't mean just a normally bird, an exceptionally very, very big bird. This bird is wingspan has 1.8 meters in width. And don't mess around these birds. They're very territorial. When they come in there, when they come to the areas, they are going to attack you if you get very close to the nest. And why are they returning during the spring? They are here because this is their birthplace. This is where they were born 6 months ago. And they want to return to they don't need passport, they're here. And the other thing that is very, very good is for the geese. They are equipped with built-in GPS. The nature, the creator gave them that. Unfortunate for Christopher Columbus, who came to North America, and he was going to India for some spices. Then he, unfortunately, or whatever his destiny was there, he arrived in North America. And when he saw a first-person native, he says, oh, you must be an Indian, because I was looking for Indians and I was looking for spices. No, this is Canada, said the native, even with all that stuff in his head. But our summer arrives. Would it be a vengeance? We think so, because the weatherman says if severe winter like that will be followed by a very, very hot summer. In summer, we enjoy just like in the tropics. Soccer playing, outdoor sports like other things. People are going to holidays, visit friends and relatives, barbecue galore, and you'll see a lot of activities such as that. And then sooner or later, summer is going to come to end. And the children don't like that. The school children are told, hey, the fall is coming and harvest time is coming. And the tree leaves, just like Madam Timer is showing me the green, and she's going to show me the yellow, and she's going to show me a red, the pine, the color of the trees are going to change from green to yellow, followed by red, and then fall to the ground, just like it says, the fall, and it becomes a fertilizer for the incoming season. And the geese get ready to fly south because they have had their time in here. The fall has come. They know the patterns within themselves. They all are ready to move back. They go for summer holidays, get some suntan in the tropics, probably Trinidad, probably South America somewhere, and then return in the spring again. Winter arrival means winter sports, skiing. This is a country. Canada is full of hockey, and hockey is great here. Championships, all types of things like that. It's really, really great. Summer came to an end. Fall is ending. Winter, people love it. We have central heating systems. We have air conditioning, we have heating, both inside one's home. And this is what we like about the Northern Hemisphere. We're not limited to hot, 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 or cold, 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 but rather we are into a very, very balanced. You can have the best of the four worlds. You can have your summer, you can have all that, and that is what I like about living in the Northern Hemisphere. With that, Madam Toastmaster, back to you.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Raam. I sure am a lover of seasons. They're all beautiful and they all inspire me differently. Our next speaker is Vivian Robinson. Vivian is a member of District 14 in Atlanta. She is married, a mother of two and a grandmother of two, and she's inspired to develop and create new ideas by observing people and situations, and Toastmasters is an excellent opportunity for that. Vivian's evaluator today is Toastmaster Lokesh Verma. Would you please give the project objectives?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day. So the purpose of this project is to learn or review basic methods for writing a speech with a defined purpose and to present a well-organized speech on any topic. Speech timing is 5 to 7 minutes. Back to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you very much. So I will introduce Vivian Robinson, how music affects our lives. How music affects our lives. Vivian Robinson, the floor is yours.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, good day. Music, I love music. I love the sounds of music. I love the inspiration from music. Music. Fellow Toastmasters, I am not a singer. I don't play an instrument. I don't read music, but I do enjoy music all the time, all kinds of music. I have no specific like for one over the other. I just simply love music. As I'm working around the house, doing those chores that we have to do, I like to have something that's riveting me up, something that's a little fast beat. But then as I go into my work day, I like to have something a little softer. And that brings in one of my favorite kinds of music. And that's the music from the heart. or the music from the violin. It's so soothing. And it has been said that music calms even the savage beast. Music. It's amazing what music does to everyone. For me, every now and again, I even dream about music. Recently, I had a dream. The dream was I was an entertainer. And I was in this venue where there's literally thousands of people waiting to hear me. And as I prepared, there's the people around me who are preparing me. I look down and I have on this very revealing, very skimpy costume and a pair of 6-inch pumps. A fellow Toastmasters, I'm already 5'7", and I weigh less than 150 pounds. So you can imagine how tall I am in a pair of 6-inch pumps. The people around me are preparing me. Everyone's saying the crowd is ready. We have an introductory group out. They're getting everything ready. And when you step onto the stage, you're going to blow them away. I sat there and I started thinking. And as I thought, I said, okay, I can do this. I've waited for this opportunity. The stage manager then comes in and says 5 minutes. So it's 5 minutes now to showtime. I make my way up the flight of stairs to the corner of the stage. And as I stand there, I look and I see the crowd. I can hear the crowd. They're cheering for the group that's on. They're singing, they're dancing. People are shouting. It's just a very fun time. And there are literally thousands of people there across all age spans, and everyone's having a great time. Fellow Toastmasters, as I stand there, the first thing comes to my mind is, but I can't sing. And then something else comes to my mind and says, there's no way that you can have dance movements in those 6-inch heels. I'm standing there and I'm breathing. The next sound I hear is buzz. And I continue to think about what I'm going to do and how I'm going to pull this off. But this constant buzz just won't go away. It becomes a little bit irritating. And so as I'm thinking, how much longer before I'm introduced? How much longer? And if I'm introduced and when I'm introduced, how am I going to pull this off? But this constant buzzing continues. Finally, I look over my shoulder. And as I look over my shoulder, I see my alarm clock. And it's still going. Fellow Toastmasters, I was sound asleep. I was dreaming. That's my alarm clock awakening me to tell me it's time to get up and start my day. I look around and I see that I'm in a familiar place. I'm not on the stage waiting to be introduced. I am in the comfort of my own home. That dream, fellow Toastmasters, to me said a couple of things. One is that my dreams that I have had on pause, I need to take off pause and bring them to the forefront. Have you had a dream of doing something you wanted to do and you always found other things that must be done before you can go into making your dream come true? Well, fellow Toastmasters, time waits on no one. Time hurries away. And as time hurries away, if we don't take our dreams off of pause, we will not get to fulfill our dreams. Some of those things that I thought that I would do as I matured, everything got in the way. Work got in the way, family got in the way, accidents got in the way, one thing and then 5 other things got in the way. After having that very vivid, very alive dream, I decided that I'll wait no longer. Those dreams that are on pause are going to come to the forefront and they are going to be my #1 priority. I'm going to start to line up my dreams. And what I did is I decided, what do you want to do first? What is your first dream? And of course, that first one is I'd like to do international travel. So during that workday, I made time to contact an agent and arrange to do international travel. So I'll be able to do that next year. A second thing I wanted to do is I wanted to see a show in New York City. I went ahead on and I made arrangements to do that also. And I'll do that this August. And for those other dreams that are coming in one by one, I'm going to budget, I'm going to plan, and then I'm going to execute. And fellow Toastmasters, I charge you with this and I encourage you. Any dream that you have, bring it to the forefront. Take it off pause. Don't wait any longer. Make time, schedule time to enjoy and to experience the dream that you've dreamt. Madam Toastmaster, back to you.
Yes. Wow. Thank you very much for sharing an exceptional dream and how that dream has come into your reality, and for an amazing way to inspire us to dream and make it happen. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Asif Sayed. Toastmaster Asif helps businesses make more money by making risk-aware decisions. He helps executives grow in their career using a growth mindset. Our Toastmaster Asif believes that creativity and standardization are required to balance life, and his evaluator will be our president, Raam. Raam, would you please present the project objectives?
Thank you, certainly. Asif Sayed is speaking from Motivational Strategies, Level 1, speech number 5, Evaluation Feedbacks, the second speech. And he's going to be speaking about presenting any speech. That is, sorry, my camera is a bit odd here. There we go. So he's going to be presenting any speech of his choice from that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. I shall now welcome our Toastmaster Asif Sayed with a speech titled, Why Creativity is Important for Leaders. Why Creativity is Important for Leaders. Asif Sayed, the floor is yours.
The failure of Kodak and Nokia are significant in the business circles whenever we talk about creativity and innovation. And you know why? Because these two companies were the leaders in the innovation field. Or rather, I would say they had spent millions of dollars in creating and research work on their own significant field or industry. For example, Kodak was a leader and spent a huge amount of money in researching on digital photography. But they were so slow and reluctant to change their business model and start focusing on to move towards digital photography. And as a result, their competitors like Canon outsmarted them, and Kodak was out of business. Similar fate was of Nokia. Now, what you see today is the smartphones like the Samsung and the Apple. Well, Nokia was the leader and spent heavily onto this field of digital or the smartphones. But if you remember those small, rigid or rugged Nokia phones, I mean, they were so popular at that time, right? And the company was so banking on this kind of products that they just went on producing and selling those tough phones. Now, why I'm discussing these two companies is because of their leaders. They had a culture of innovation. They spent a lot of money on innovation, but they were very slow in adapting or moving their existing business model towards the newer models. So what has this to do with Toastmasters and our organization and culture and clubs? Well, you see, after the pandemic, now Zoom was not new, but like we were suddenly introduced to these online meetings. You could find people spending a lot of time and energy learning or becoming an expert speaker on stage, because that was the #1 fear for everyone. So for so many centuries, while everyone has worked on to overcome that fear, suddenly after this COVID, post-COVID era, what has happened to Toastmasters? We were forced, like any other organization, to adapt to some new technologies and the circumstances. And that's where the digital online meeting stepped in. So it's a time for us to unlearn what we had learned in the past, that is presenting in front of a huge audience, physically present. And now we are looking at, or we are learning how to present before a small camera. And we don't know many of the people behind, like, they switch off their videos and you simply don't know, are they listening or not? Is that fear now? It's a new fear which is happening or coming in all of us is, are people listening? Are they really there? Am I audible? That becomes the first sentence when we start the meetings. And the glitches of technology, how hard we prepare, and the technology ditches us on the last moment. So, my dear friends, Toastmasters, we got to give a lot of importance now to adopt to this new ways of reaching out to people. It has helped us to connect, see, across the globe. And today we are meeting across several time zones, thousands of kilometers away. We are all together just because of this digital. And yet it is our, becoming a big challenge for us. So here is the opportunity. We are leaders, and leaders accept challenges. They work towards it. It's not so simple work to learn newer things. It requires your ability to open up, to feel like a parachute, open up and embrace new things. Because without that, it's the mindset, Without that, you will not be able to adapt to a new ways of doing business, communicating, collaborating. So as leaders, what we are working towards, even in our Toastmasters Club, is looking at how digital is affecting our way. For example, Zoom presence. Look, I'm presenting in my room over here, and behind there are in my room, there are some, things which would be distractive if I would show you my room then. So I'm using a virtual background. But that virtual background, again, hinders many things. And, the video quality sometimes is not so good. We got to keep adapting towards new things, right? Now, that's the challenge. So as leaders, what we are going to do, or we are enabling our people, is in circles, you come, you present, you learn newer ways. Let go of that fear. But important is collaborating. That's what leaders do. Leaders are ready to fail. But important is learn from the failures and not do the same mistakes again and again. That's what kind of culture we want to encourage at Leadership Speak, as well as in Toastmasters across, so that whatever new things we're going to adapt over here are going to be set up the benchmark for other clubs as well. Now, the next thing which I want to tell our Toastmasters fraternity or our community collaboration is that, look, while we focus so much on standardization, simply because we want to achieve efficiency, but at the same time, we are encouraging our members to be collaborative and creative and have an open mindset. A merger of these two is going to make us fabulous leaders and winners and successful leaders across the globe. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
Thank you very much, Toastmaster Asif, and thank you for being an exceptional leader and stepping in as our reserve speaker for today. We really appreciate your leadership. That brings us, ladies and gentlemen, to the end of our prepared speeches, and I would like to ask our timer to please post the timings of all the speeches in the chat while we launch the poll for the most creative speaker today. So in whichever way you felt the speakers stretch themselves today, the poll should be in front of you. Right, we will also not go on a break because we are running late on time. And I shall then, while you finish the poll or vote for your best speaker, I would like to introduce the next part of this meeting, which is our evaluations. And with that, I would like to introduce our general evaluator. So I would like to introduce Toastmaster Mrinal Kanti Ghosh. Mrinal is working as a market access manager and has been a Toastmaster for the last 2 years. He is also part of another club called the Globetrotters Toastmasters Club, and he serves as a president. The concept of success, says Mrinal, can't be based on parameters decided by others. It has to be decided by your personal preferences and goals, and the ones that satisfy yourself and make you happy, because the rat race is a trap. Be true to yourself and enjoy the moments. With that, I'd like to introduce Mrinal Kanti Ghosh.
Thank you, Nikhita, for your nice introductions and creative poetry introduction to me. Now, we are coming to the most excited part, evaluations. So first, I welcome our first leadership speak evaluator, Ejura. She's from Nigeria. She's a learner. She loves for life. She enjoys good food and wholesome conversations. Till she feels the inner child by listening to the music artists from 17th and 80s like Marvin Gaye, Bob Marley, Beatles. So without further ado, I just welcome on the stage Ejura. Ejura, please evaluate our leadership speaker, Tony.
Thank you, Mrinal. Good evening, Leadership Speak. It's my honor to give my evaluation on Tony's speech. Thank you so much, Tony, for that highly inspirational speech. I got so much from it. I'm still buzzing from it. Thank you so much for that. I think everyone can agree with me that what makes a great presentation is honesty and passion and enthusiasm. And I think, in fact, I know that Tony brought all of that. He came with his passion, he came with his zeal, he came with his knowledge, and he came with so much conviction about the topic. The bottom line is the employee prosperity. And he gave us evidence upon evidence upon evidence in his slides. One thing I loved about the speech, I loved several things about the speech. One thing I loved was the fact that it was very well structured. You began with talking about what creativity is. You defined creativity, and then you went on to give us a brief introduction of yourself. You gave us a light overview of who you are. And I feel that gave a lot of credence and credibility to the fact that you have this expert knowledge on the topic. And then you went on to talk about the challenges that had to be solved using creativity. I mean, you shared some of your experiences from your years of working in the corporate world. Why I loved your speech particularly was the presentation. A presentation, like I said earlier on, when it talks about when there's so much honesty and you were able to connect with the audience. You came with so much conviction. You came with attractive slides, relevant content, great pictures, were able to relate. And then another thing was how I loved how you were able to meet us where we were. You didn't come with business jargons. You came with very simple words. You came with, you came as simple as possible. Very simple. Your message was extremely clear. There were no misinterpretations of any kind. So I thank you for that. And I loved how at the end you were able to tie the message to the mission of Leadership Speak, how you talked about the employees becoming leaders, self-regulated leaders. I thought that was excellent. That was, exemplary. What recommendation, it's just one recommendation I have. And the only thing is I would have loved a little bit of interaction with the audience. That's the only recommendation I have. Just a little bit of interaction with the audience. That it didn't have to be nothing deep or elongated, just a brief interaction with the audience. That would have, made everything, superb. But it was a really inspirational speech. I loved it. Thank you so much. Looking forward to hearing you speak again. And I've learned so much from this. Thank you. Thank you once again.
Thank you so much, Ejura. So now I'm coming to our second evaluator, Toastmaster Marianna. She has been Toastmaster since 2018 and enjoyed participating in meeting as it improves her presentation skill and most importantly, listening skill. So without further ado, I just welcome Toastmaster Marianna, kindly evaluate Angela Brown. Toastmaster Marianna, podium is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. G, fellow Toastmasters, and especially you, Angela. You are an exceptional person dealing with all these attacks against your body, and you survived and you fought back. Congratulations. You have my greatest respect, and especially because you shared all your trouble so we can learn from your experience. Thank you very much. You started your speech with a question, which is always a good place to start, because you woke up our curiosity, you made us thinking, and of course, who didn't have problems? We all have. We all fighting, and thank you for encouraging us. I loved your speech. I loved your presentation and commend you on standing up. You know, maybe that I love people presenting standing up. And that gives us possibility to see your hand gestures, which you used plenty. Very helpful. Thank you very much. But at this point, I would like to suggest you to lift up your camera to eye height, like I have it now. And all it takes a couple of books. You can just put it under so we can see, because I didn't see your eyes. We didn't have eye contact with you. We heard your story. We didn't see your eyes. Lift up your camera and we can see you. And also, you might want to reposition your light so it won't glare on your glasses. So we can see you. Once you're at eye level, we can see your eyes. And we can have eye contact and deeper appreciation of your story. And I would like to challenge you that now you were standing. That's wonderful. Now you have to move around, because I know it's hard. It happens to me all the time that I stand up and I concentrate so much of my presentation. I don't move. It's like I have roots under my feet. You have to practice to move around. And when you want to use your hand, you step back. And when you want to tell your little secrets, come closer to us. Give more life to your speech. And most importantly, some of the words I didn't understand, like your illness when you were coming back from Florida. So maybe you can make a simple Zoom background and some words you just put behind you, important words, so we can see and make sure we understand the name of your illness if it's important. Or you don't have to mention them, because I spent some of my time trying to look it up, and that distracted me of listening. But all in all, thank you very much for sharing. And I love the message. Never give up. Keep on going. And well received. Best wishes to you in the future. Back to you, Mr. G.
Thank you, Marianna, for your exceptional evaluations. And thanks for your transformation journey, Angela, sharing with all of us. Now we are coming to our next evaluator, Toastmaster Barbara. Barbara is born in Antigua, who loves serving the God, and she is very thankful for life. When we asked about every child is an artist, she replied, she always be as like a child level. Child with knowledge by reading books and uplifting knowledge, and try to creative dancing whenever she gets chance. So without further ado, I just welcome to the podium Barbara, Toastmaster Barbara Jarvis. Kindly evaluate Dinesh Sharma.
Thank you, Mr. Evaluator. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening again to everyone. Special good afternoon, good morning to you, Dinesh Sharma. Thank you for that lovely and effective speech that you gave. It was exceptional on the power of networking. You had great vocal variety. You had good eye contact. You had a very good comfort level, and you got great gestures when you presented your speech. I like the way you started when you asked the question about leadership speak as to when it was first started. And then you commented on the growth. You commented Raam on the growth that he has done for the leadership speak in networking. So you've connected your speech to that, which is very good. You asked some relevant questions about networking, which shows that it has energy and could build brilliant minds. You drew a comparison with networking like a bank account, which transactions are done. This is a great food for thought, as it does make sense to me. When you make your networking, you intend to see that growth from whatever networking that you are making as a presentation. And I was very impressed with your achievements that you got when you showed your certificates, when you do your promoting of the networking. However, what I would have liked to see is that when you ask the question to the audience, are leaders made or leaders born? Pause for a minute and let the audience answer, quick, maybe one or two persons make a quick, that's a very important question. Are leaders made or leaders born? That would have been a very good comparison to hear what somebody else would have said about that presentation. It was great overall, and I want to commend you. I want to encourage you to continue on that path. You are a leader, and I just want to say I'm very happy to have been your evaluator. Thank you, and back over to you, General Evaluator Mrinal.
Thank you, Barbara. Now we are coming to our next evaluator. She's recently joined our club, 3 times DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster, District Governor, and currently serving as a District Parliamentarian of District 120. Toastmaster DTM Nina John, please, I welcome you on the podium. He will be evaluate Raam Lakhanpal.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator, TM Mrinal Ghosh. Welcome to all the speakers over here, and especially TM Raam Lakhan. I love this thing about the seasons because I live in a place which has 3 seasons, hot, hotter, and hottest. So we outdo you in the number of seasons that we have. And I think you went through all those seasons so beautifully. We were able to see the thick blanket of snow in winter and spring and all of those things. And I really liked the differentiation you made through all those things, but I would have liked you to add a little more in terms of details. For example, I think you could have either concentrated on the birds or the humans and say, it's winter time, we're all snuggled under the blankets because outside it's not well like that. But when it's spring, we're all out. We can smell the barbecue in the neighbor's house, the smells wafting across the neighborhood, all kinds of meats and all kinds of neighbors. And, give us that kind of picture. We use your vocal variety for sights and sounds and smells so that we get that overall picture and we say, aha, this is what winter is like and this is what spring is like. And therefore, in terms of details, I love the stuff you had, the different contemporary references about how birds not needing passwords and geese having a GPS system, again, in terms of detail. The geese flying across continents in their famous V-shaped formation, the leader goose and the rest. Could have had some reference to leadership speak over there with the lead goose and how we all take turns. So we're all geese in that sense. So that kind of detail, I think, would have added richness to your speech. Overall, you have great fluency of both speech and language. I like the way you had the title and you stuck to it. And I think a little more description in terms of sights, sounds, smells, evoking all the different emotions and senses, awakening our senses would have been a wonderful thing. So I'm really looking forward to all the different 4 seasons with you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster and General Evaluator.
Thank you so much.
Toastmaster Mrinal.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your great way to evaluating like a great storyteller. So now we are coming to our next evaluator. Lokesh Verma is a Toastmaster almost 4 years. He is passionate to improve leadership quality and improve communication skill. So he will be evaluating Vivian. Toastmaster Lokesh, podium is yours.
Instead of to say yes and
Thank you, Toastmaster Mrinal. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to each one of you, and special good evening to Toastmaster Vivian. How music affects our life. What a wonderful speech. I'm really inspired from your speech with the takeaway. What you have shared is to pursue our dreams. Whatever obstacles comes in, no matter, it will be there. You go anywhere to pursue your dreams, obstacles will be there. It's up to you how you overcome that. Exceptionally well prepared, confident presentation of your speech. And the best part I really like is the usage of your hands as well. My takeaway I have already shared. The message was very, very clear. The purpose for which, the structure of the speech you have to prepare for to deliver that structure. I strongly believe that purpose has been met. So we always see, what kind of the amalgamation from the opening to the body to the conclusion was that. And I see the amalgamation was good. However, there's a one part which I want you to ponder upon is the opening connect with the body and conclusion, and the connect with your title of your speech, with the inspiration you have given with the speech. When you say your topic is how music affects our life, then probably I think the topic could have been much aligned to the overall message you have given. Probably could be, the title of your speech could be pursue your dreams, no matter, whatever it is, but could be related to your overall message delivery. I want to give you one challenge. There was a bit of humor I see in your script. So try to use that humor while delivering your speech. And definitely, I would like you to work upon the vocal variety as well. So overall, from the starting to the end, the speech was having the flat tone of your voice. Probably that could have been added. Otherwise, a well-prepared speech with the confident presentation, a good usage of hand. The only thing I think, title of your speech and the matching of the opening with the body and conclusion, you need to ponder upon, but otherwise overall a wonderful, inspiring speech. And I believe purpose has been met. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Lokesh. Now we are coming to our last evaluator of the day, Toastmaster Raam. We all know that she is highly creative and now just unstoppable. So now I welcome Toastmaster Raam. Kindly evaluate Muhammad Asif.
Thank you, Mr. General Evaluator, Toastmasters, guests, and especially my very good friend, Asif Saeed. Appropriate speech title, Why Creativity is Important. Theme-aligned speech is always welcome because, this just brings us, it ties everything together. Well done. What you did was you demonstrated how failures happened in the past through technology and not following through and not being creative enough, not being ahead of the curve and rather following the curve. And that way you can lose. And then you demonstrated how others went ahead. And then this analogy, you brought it to Toastmasters. And those Toastmasters that adopted technology, who were early adopters and were agile and adaptable, succeeded very well. And most of them began to fail. And we can see that on the dashboard for the past 3 years. And I believe by Monday, when the new numbers are published, we'll see, I hope, not too shocking results. So perfectly well said, timely speech about how clubs have followed Nokia and BlackBerry and those people rather than followed Apple and Samsung and things like that. I had 3 key points of takeaways from you. That was, opportunities, adapt, communicate, and collaborate. My other takeaway was learning from failures. And my third most important takeaway was standardization. There are standardizations, and they have to be because there has to be a structure. Yet within that structure, you can express your uniqueness and your strengths and be part of the whole by collaborating. Very well done, effectively done. What I like you to work on, Asif, is your transitions, better flow of ideas, and the idea should have flowed better from start to end, and have a clear, strong conclusion and a good takeaway for us all. And that was missing. It was actually an abrupt conclusion. Now, I know you prepared this last minute. You actually did this very first thing in the morning today. You took it on. But so thank you so much. We understand that part. Usually your speeches are well structured. You also asked, was this an original thought process? Yes. Was it bookish? No, it was not bookish. Was it easy to understand? Easy to understand, but lost in the conclusion, lost in the translation, right? Now, your delivery. I'll come to you. That was the content, your delivery. Your Zoom presence is always great. You have mastered how to work with the virtual screen, so you don't tend to disappear into the virtuality. Vocal variety was good. Your eye contact, perfect. Your movement, you were static. See if you can move a little bit forward, backward, or sideways a little bit. That would be better than being static. I mean, static is not bad at all, but we are in Toastmasters, so we need to practice a little bit of that as well to see if that is effective or not. I mean, there are a lot of very effective speakers who don't move. So this is just a suggestion for you. Gestures could be better and use more pauses for effect. With that, back to you, Mr. G.
Thank you, Brown, for your reports. Now, time for timer report. Hannah, could you post better for the time management? Can you post in the chat box your timer report? Thank you so much. And I urge you, our PR master, Sa, please vote for best evaluator. Please. So now if done, I think better. I think now we are coming to our next tag role player, grammarian, RC Aslam. Kindly present your report. RC Aslam, please present your report.
Thank you very much, the general evaluator. The word of the day, exceptional. Been used 6 times, 1 time by Toastmaster Raam, Lakhanpal, and 2 times with Nikhita, and 1 time with Ejura, 1 time with Mrinal, and 1 time from Barbara. Good use. Contentment was explained with examples. So even when the technical jargons were presented, then and there, it was cleared with further explanation. That was really good. And a beautiful word used, amalgamation, even though it's not very commonly used, but it was really nice. And a very good pronunciation. We use the word please, but the best way of using is pleased with an Z, with a Z pronunciation. That was done. Areas to improve. The words like purpose, networking, perfect, the R, let's try to omit R sound in between. Purpose, networking, and perfect. And when we use the word because, the better way of using it's because with the Z pronunciation. And some good words were used like credence. And in terms of phrasing, instead of tough fonts, we could have used sophisticated fonts. Maybe a better way. And finally, will evaluating, to be corrected as will be evaluating. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So well done. So just small request, if possible, try to present your report in the PowerPoint mode or maybe in the Excels. So this will be understood by each and everyone in a better way. And once again, I know that we already in the group. Better, I think you should post in the group word of the day at least 3 or 4 days before, so that most of the member can use word of the day. And I think it's a very exceptional, is a very correlate with creative things. Both are very well connected. So thanks for choosing word of the day, exceptional. So that's all. Now I'm coming to our first evaluator, Ejura. I think you are an amazing evaluator. Only few things that I think I should come to the point due to time constraint. You talking about 2 things in connection with audience. You talk about this is the CRC approach C. Same thing you repeat in recommendation part, audience interactions. So just a small, if you talk about audience interaction, which are the 1 or 2 key point should bring by Tony during discussion for audience interaction? We all know it's amazing speech, but what are the point he should be discussed with the audience. That 1 or 2 points you should bring in your evaluation. So Tony, maybe in the next level of your presentation skill, you can improve on next time onwards. Now coming to Marianna, attack against body. So this is your tagline you use when you evaluate, and start it with questions. You are talking about one good things. First, you just try to follow the CRC approach, commendation, recommendation, and then you come to conclusions. So I also totally agree with you. Only one thing, this is for Angela regarding even also one recommendation from my side. Your standing position, whenever you presence in Zoom presence, try to follow one thing. I think it's not coming now, man. So what happens is blur background come. So that part you need to take care of that when you're presenting that. And rest, I think, is excellent job done by you. Next, I'm coming to Barbara. Start with lovely, exceptional. You talk about the great things. You mention about vocal variety, comfort level, great gesture. But thing is that these all are theoreticals. So in our leadership speak, we want some advance. So whatever need to bring some creativity. You always talking about good things, but each and every member having a scope of improvement. That part also you need to bring. You always talking about the positive sign of the speaker. So this is a small request. Just try to bring one recommendation for the speaker as well. Next, coming to our next evaluator, Nina John. You are a great storyteller. Even during your evaluation, you can find your such an amazing technique, how you can bring something new during evaluations. You talk about composition of hot, hotter, hottest, and then you compare winter, spring seasons. And you're absolutely right. So one thing, you talk about the one thing, you can bring some description or emotional for Raam. So you just pointed out 1 or 2 points. Which are the point should Raam should focus on that or emphasis on that on the description part? That part I think you could bring in. And rest, you are an excellent evaluator, you are now coming to Lokesh, pursue your dreams, obstacle will there. And same thing, you are mainly focusing on the 3 parameter, opening part, body part, and conclusions part. And you mentioned for the speaker, humor or vocal variety. Just try to use 1 or 2 things that speakers should implement it during their next time onwards practice. Vocal variety. What kind of things he need to develop? That part you need to take care of that. And humor, which are the things Vivian should brings in their topic. So 1 or 2 points, not more than details, not equal, but that should be work on the next level. So this is, we all know, something new things we should bring to our club. Now coming to Raam, we all know amazing, amazing evaluations, talking about the creativity, talking about the curve. How, suppose if you miss the opportunity, then what happened? Giving the great example of Nokia, BlackBerry, Kotak. So these are the great examples. So he talked about three things, 3 process, opportunity, then communication, talking about the standardization process. Only a lot of things within the 3 minutes. Abraham talked about many things because he knows very closely with Asif, so he speak a lot regarding that. So just a small thing he can talk about, like Zoom presence, delivery part was excellent, but vocal variety, you are talking about improving gesture and vocal variety. You could focus on 1 point or 2 parameter in gesture, which part he can improve for next time onwards. So that's a small suggestion, so that next time onward he can improve that parameter. So overall, excellence evaluation. And today, I must say, all evaluators are exceptional, even all speakers are also exceptional. Now coming to, we all know that's Murray, you bang on time, you follow even each and every seconds also. So you start on time. Fabiola, you raise a toast with a lot of creativity. Kids are naturally creative, talented. And today you, such creativity, pots of chocolates with your toast. Hannah, you are always smiling, and only one recommendation from you, Hannah, because you are a seasons timer. So better you just mention the timer part as per the agenda. You need not to go through the details. So you can save at least 1 minute time on that. And rest part is, you are fabulous. And now coming to our Toastmaster of the day, Nikhita, nurturing our creative culture. And what kind of culture you bring it? I know that you study a lot of new things on creativity. I must appreciate you, how you manage yourself through time. First half an hour and next half an hour. You transform your thought in a different directions. So kudos to you for bringing a new topic on creativity, and we learn a lot of new things on that. So with that, I want to now hand over the podium to Toastmaster of the Day, Nikhita.
Thank you very much. Thank you for an exceptional evaluation. And yes, we are missing awards. So who is our most innovative speaker for today? Mary, are you ready with the certifications? Yes? All right. So our most innovative speaker today is Vivian Robinson. Congratulations. There you go. You have your certificate.
Thank
and
you.
I hope you're proud of yourself today. Well done. Keep stretching your creative muscles. Next, I will present the most innovative evaluator, and that goes to Toastmaster Marianna Burka. Congratulations. I hope you're proud of yourself today and look forward to more innovative evaluations from you. Okay, that brings us to the end of today's meeting. And I just want to say thank you very much for having me as your Toastmaster of the day. Creativity is not an easy box to stretch. We have a lot of work to do. And I'm sure we will continue to explore how we can bring creativity into all the spaces that we occupy as we are leaders, with our co-workers, and here at Toastmasters. Thank you very much, Raam, for the challenge. And I call upon our president, Bra Mamone, and think the meeting I will officially adjourn. I don't know if that's my role to do it, but I want to thank each and every one of you for being here today, and I hope you leave inspired. Brahm, you may take the floor. You are on, can't hear you.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can.
Okay, all right. So thank you very much. This meeting is adjourned. But we would like to speak very briefly with our guests, and then we will ask everyone to leave because we have a special executive